is independent of the uniform velocity of the frame. In other words, the law of physics must have the same form in every inertial frame. The corollary is that the speed.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It is week 40 of 2017. Man, we are just piling up weeks on weeks of good work. This is another good week of work. We moved the reps up slightly from last week, although you are going to notice in the volume update that delt volume seems to have dropped, but that's actually because the reps went down slightly because I raised the weight on my upright rows, and so once we work that back up to the same amount of reps, it's going to be so much more, yeah! This week we are going to be talking about learning and applying, which is basically a different way of saying don't repeat the same mistake over and over, which is always good in all aspects of life, but obviously we're going to be talking mostly about exercise and diet, etc. So the first thing that has come up was this diet. Now, I really need to be careful of proclaiming victory too early because I still have 2 weeks to go by the time you guys see this video. And, bad things still could happen, although I am confident that I'm going to make it without any trouble. But as you know, I've been lowering the weights as necessary to make sure I survive the diet without getting a hernia again, which is what I got the last time. And as we know, we need to show up consistently, which, if you're injured, is not going to happen. Another thing that's worth repeating from this diet is keeping the calorie deficit reasonable. I think the max deficit I had per day on this diet was something like 600 calories per day as opposed to 1,000 to 1,500, which I think I've done in the past and it didn't go well. And I think you guys remember when I hit my 1.85 times body weight bench, I was well into the diet, so it clearly helped me maintain some strength throughout the first half of the diet or so before, the weakness started to set in near the end. As for something negative, which I will want to fix the next time out, I did not get as lean as I had in mind during this diet, at least going by what I'm seeing in the mirror. I think the remedy for that is to stop subtracting 3% off of the number that is given by the US Navy body fat percentage test that I use. I was doing that this time to make sure the deficit was super reasonable. After running this, things went well. I think we can get rid of that 3% reduction and get a better body composition next time. So we got a couple things to keep, one thing at least to fix, and eventually we're going to get this perfect, yeah. And on the 8th day, the Lord said, "Let there be light," and there was. Or actually, maybe that was the 2nd day or the 4th day. Guess who wasn't paying attention in Sunday school? This guy. Anyway, had to turn the lights on because it's dark in this piece. On the same theme of improving our processes, I am rapidly approaching a new weight gain phase, and that is going to be awesome because it's going to be a lot of food, which leads to a lot of energy for the workouts. The thing that happened last time, though, was that I ended up getting super fat, and that's definitely a telltale sign because right now I am down something like 18 pounds on this diet, and I'm still saying things like, yeah, I'm really not that lean. It's like, what's going on? So the goal for this next weight gain phase is to keep the fat gain to a minimum. And the way we're going to control that is, last time I think I ended up pushing up to something like 3,300 calories per day, which is clearly in the range of 400 to 500 calorie surplus. And that is pretty much unsustainable in terms of keeping fat off. So my game plan for this weight gain phase upcoming is to keep the calorie surplus to something more like 100 to 200 per day at most, and try and keep the weight gain to something like a pound a month as opposed to a pound a week-ish is what I was ending up with the last time. I managed to actually solve a problem that I discussed last week. And oh, by the way, it's hump day! Oh yeah! Last week I was speculating on how difficult it may be to get all the running that I want to get done in during the winter, given weather problems, etc., etc. Well, something dawned on me that I had forgotten that I like to do, and that is P90X. So I was thinking, if there's days where the weather is just too brutal for me to get a run in, I can just throw on the good old Plyo-X video and do that as my cardio instead of heading outside. That will be particularly good for the long run days because I'm targeting about the same amount of time, 45 to 50 minutes for my long runs, and potentially I could also do some insanity on the days where I would do intervals if those get canceled due to weather as well. And That'll also help minimize the fat gain, which is going to be a big goal of mine once I start eating all the food. Last lift of the week, the incline with the 195 still moving pretty well. And the volume update for week 40. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the delts are down slightly, but that's kind of one of those one step back, looking to make 2 steps forward in the future kind of things. And this week we are up about 3,000 pounds from last week, so I will take that. And 2017 goals update screen, we are at 92.76 on the 11,000 chin-up challenge for the year, and we are just shy of 6 million pounds. Clearly going to hit that next week on our 7 million pounds challenge. And last but not least, diet data screen, down about a quarter pound this week at 137.6, which I think is actually 17 pounds down from the start. I think earlier in the video I had said 18, so just correcting the record. All right, you peeps, you have a good one. I'll catch you next time. Bye.